Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get into a couple of things that you should be concerned about. And then I want to do an update on the video that I did yesterday about the UK shortage of silver blanks to mint their coins with. So before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings and their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right. Gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. And right now is the time to buy gold and silver. I've been stressing that, and I can't stress it enough how important it is to protect yourself. But you're going to really understand and appreciate the true value of gold and silver once we get forced into this new system that's coming up. So when you get ready to go buy your gold and silver, go to Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. And you know I have this alternate website, which we're getting ready to be publishing some original content that I think you guys will be really impressed with. So stay tuned for that, and I look forward to sharing that with you. So a couple of things, a quick look at the market. We can see that gold down to, it's back to 1760 range, but it looks like it's starting to go back up. Silver has come down a little bit, but as you can see, it's starting to rebound back up. What I mean by that is if you look on this graph, it went down, see it going back up. Same here, it went down, and now it's going back up. Bitcoin is on a tear, still getting up there. It's now above the 60,000. Man, this Plan B, I got to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Plan B. Man, I would love to actually interview whoever that is, because I'm curious about this model that they're using, if they're willing to share that information. We're in October. What is the prediction? 63,000. We're at 60,000 now, and we're at the halfway mark of the month. Not bad. Let's see how the month ends. Remember, we got futures contracts on Bitcoin. The futures contracts are at 22 and 24,000. That's when you start seeing the markets get interrupted. When these people start doing trickery to manipulate the markets. So depending on who it is that sold these futures contracts. Anyways, the prediction for November is 98,000. So not too bad, because if you look at, that's about another $35,000 up. And 135,000 by the end of December. So again, shout out to Plan B. So far, so good. So at 60,000, Ethereum's at 38,000. It was teetering near that 4,000. It came down just a little bit, but even so, still up around the 38,000. 38,000. 3,800. 38,000 would be nice, man. It really would. My bad. So you see some red there. This is what I'm talking about when it looks like a legitimate market. When you see some in green and some in red, and the cryptocurrencies are performing on their own. Not all going up at the same time and all coming down at the same time. This to me would be what a legitimate market looks like, not a manipulated market. So who's in the green so far this morning? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana still. Again, it's almost like the same people. Polkadot got up above the $40 range. XLM, man, it's only 3%, almost a 4% drop. But some news that I heard about this, it should have came out a couple of days ago. I don't know what the delay is. I keep looking for the information because I'm anticipating a small, good-sized run for XLM on this news. Look at Shiba. They took, what, a 9% hit yesterday and a 12% hit today. Seems to me like Shiba's starting to go down. But again, these are one of those coins. I got discretionary funds in there. I don't care. I'm just leaving it there. I'm not going to panic every time it goes up and down like this, because I think you're going to see Shiba get up there. It's going to sooner or later reach the 1 cent mark. It is a meme coin. It's a crap coin. But even so, the fact that you could buy so many for so cheap and just sit there and let it go and just leave it alone. Just ignore it for a while and see what happens. Dogecoin going down 3%. Look at the 52-week average. You can see it. Bitcoin, look at that. Not far from the record. Not far at all. Ethereum, look at that, not far from the record. Not far at all. Now, keep in mind, when I say this is the 52-week range, this doesn't mean it's the all-time highs. It could be. This was the lowest, and this was the highest in the past 52 weeks. So it could have been lower, obviously, at one time, and it could have been higher, obviously, at one time. So that does not mean that this is the record. This is just the 52-week range. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum are sitting near the high side of their 52 range. So is Cardano. They're still up there, of course. Hex is still up there. XRP about halfway there, that's for sure. Come on, XRP. You started to make a little run. That's another one of those I'm anticipating running with the news of what's going to happen to XLM. Solana, Polkadot up there, Polkadot. These are the ones that I said I'm going to keep an eye on and start investing in. Cardano, Solana, Polkadot, obviously. I spoke about Polkadot when it was like $11, $9 or so, and it's up to 40. Of course, Shiba, because it's ridiculously cheap. And if you look at Veracity, it's still sitting around 5 cents. When I first spoke about it, it was 2.5. All right, let's go and take a look at what's going on with silver anyways. Man, after we seen that nice path yesterday of it going up, there's this went up over the hill and came right back down. But you can see it's going back up again. But let's look at the hour by hour. That's usually a good look. And what do we see? Yesterday, I was all happy, and I showed this look like a straight line. I was like, look at this bad boy here. Zoop, comes right back down. But as you can see, it's price taking off. That's about $1 gain over 2 days. About at 10 o'clock last night, we see it at about 23.56. Nice. But usual, around 8 or 9 in the morning, the next day, the price has dropped. Down to 23.07. But is starting to go back into the green again. If I'm not so sure that the shortages on the silver planet are going to affect the markets, I did have a chance to talk to Stefan real quick, or I should say chat with him. And I was asking him if he heard anything about what's going on with these silver blanks. And what he was saying is, usually a company called Sunshine Mint, they're in Idaho, they usually make Britannias. But in this case, the 2022 Britannias were actually made in Europe this time instead of Sunshine. Sunshine Mint is having some issues. The 2022 Britannias are going to be coming from Europe. For those of you who are collectors and not just stacking silver, we like when issues happen to coins. There's a shortage. There's a low mintage of them. It looks like the 2022 Britannias, if this continues, there could be a low mintage of them. So I usually like to try to jump on a bunch of them and just stack them and hold them. The non-Sunshine supplier, Blanks to the U.S. Mint, had a lot of quality issues and had their contracts pulled apparently. So what he was saying is that the supplier of the silver blank has some quality issues. And that's why the sovereign mint coin blank situation was bad. So the combination of those things have affected their productions. It's kind of put things in disarray a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect the markets that much. Maybe it will. We'll see. Because they might have to beg, borrow, and steal to get silver blanks from elsewhere. We'll keep an eye on it. It says gold futures slide early Friday as stocks and treasury yields step up. So here's my issue with this. We know that the algorithms have taken over the stock market. This is why I have a big problem with the numbers that we see. How do we know that it's not programmed to artificially pump up numbers to keep people from panicking, to keep the market from crashing? Gold futures slide early Friday as stocks and treasury yields step up. Why are stocks going up? That's the question you have to ask yourself. With the economy shut down and basically our supply lines, the ship containers on both the east and west coast are backed up by hundreds of ships. How are they making a profit? How is this even possible? There's no supplies or very low amount of supplies. Our economy is shut down. So if people aren't working, how are these stocks gaining all the time? You have to ask yourself that question. When they finally stop artificially pumping up the market, you know it is going to collapse. It's going to collapse fast. It's going to crash. You need gold and silver. You need to be out of the system for more reasons than one. So I spoke about this when China decided to ban cryptos and get rid of their mining companies, that this would give some country, and most likely the United States, an advantage in the crypto market. It says U.S. becomes the new Bitcoin mining king following China crackdown. According to Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, the U.S. has become the world's leader in Bitcoin mining following China's renewed crypto industry crackdown. Accounting for 35.4% of the global hash rate, as of the end of August, more than doubling from 16.8% at the end of April. Nice. CoinDesk's Galen Moore discussed the latest on Bitcoin mining and hash rate concentration issues, plus his outlook for the U.S. Bitcoin futures ETF landscape. Man, you guys don't want them to start selling derivatives and futures on cryptocurrencies. I can't stress that enough, man. Anybody that's been dealing with gold and silver for a long time knows what that means for your industry. Anyways, I thought this was interesting because right above and below articles, this one says that, the United States makes up 35.4% of the global hash rate. Then you come down here and it says that the United States currently makes up 42.7% of Bitcoin's network's hash rate. A little bit off on numbers. So this was one of the things I thought might be beneficial to cryptocurrency lovers. That if a country like the United States started taking over, becoming a leader in Bitcoin mining or just cryptocurrency mining, this will allow them to generate another form of income via taxes. Then they might be less likely to outlaw them or ban cryptocurrencies altogether. So this looks good that, whether it's 35.4 or 42.7% of the world's hash rate is produced by the mining companies here in the United States. I look for things like that tell me, yeah, if this continues and the United States government figures out a way to benefit from it, they're least likely to do away with cryptocurrencies altogether. Again, that's just my opinion, although this person has a different one. A crypto collapse is possible and regulations of the market is urgently needed. Bank of England's deputy governor says. It's funny how they're pushing the same crappy story over here our politicians are. So what they do is they cause panic in the market, crypto market, by going, oh my God, it could collapse, you guys. My poor citizens. No, what this means is the government can't figure out how to control it. And if they can't control it, they don't want anything to do with it whatsoever. Now, I notice they're pushing centralized cryptocurrencies, not decentralized cryptocurrencies. That's not surprising to see that the United States and England at least pairing up on the same story that, hey, cryptocurrencies are bad for you. You're liable to lose a lot of money. And it's not beyond them to try to find a way to buy into it with large amounts of money and then turn around and purposely crash the market. So they create the problem and then try to give you the solution. A crash in the crypto market is plausible given the volatility of its space. He called for regulations of digital assets, saying it is a matter of urgency. Why do they care? If the people want to go into the market, that is their responsibility. Everybody knows that anytime you invest in anything, so let's get that out there for you newbies. Anytime you invest in anything, there's always a risk involved. There's always a risk that whatever you invest, however much money it is, you could lose it all. There's always that risk. Now, some investments, the risk is higher than others. Obviously, if I'm investing into a risky stock, you get bigger gains. Congratulations, but the risk is higher. If you go into a safe bet into something like gold and silver, that's a safe bet. It's been consistent for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. So, yeah, I mean, again, some risks are higher than others. It just depends on what you're investing in. So for them to pump up a bunch of fluff, using it as an excuse to try to find a way to grab control of the crypto market, that's all it is. It's a power grab. So when you see articles like this, scare you, you could lose everything. Well, so can I in the stock market. So can I just by putting money in my bank through a bail-in. That's why I don't keep money in the bank. But there's another reason why I don't keep money in the bank too. I just got a new reason. The Democrats want more. Yes, more control. Big government. We just sit back and let this happen. No uprisings, no nothing. Nobody complaining. Nothing that I could see. That's just because they control the media and the platforms. But let's hear this because you should be aware of what's going on out there. Some of you may not be.
As a part of its multi-trillion-dollar reconciliation bill, the Biden administration and congressional Democrats want to hire an additional 87.
The Democrats, he said, you heard that, the Dems want to hire 87,000 more spies. IRS agents to keep track of your $600 or more transactions. You got to hear the story behind it. Listen to what Yellen says. And if this isn't laughable, I don't know what is.
1,000 IRS agents more than doubling the 74,000 employee service. It wants to equip them with a new power to examine any of your bank transactions over the amount of $600.
You want banks to report transactions.
You ready? This is the thing that bothers me about the Dems. Their lies are so bad right now. And again, sorry, sometimes you gotta use the labels because this is who's doing this, the Democrats. So sometimes their lies and reasoning behind what they do is so blatantly obvious, full of crap. You just can't believe that they're actually saying it. Now listen to what Yellen's saying is her reason for keeping track of transactions $600 or more and why the IRS needs 87,000 new employees.
Of $600 or more. That's what the IRS wants. Does this mean that the government is trying to peek into our pocketbooks if you want to look at $600 transactions?
Absolutely not. I think this proposal has been seriously mischaracterized.
Okay, she's saying, does this mean the IRS wants to look into our pocketbooks? And she says, absolutely not. Well, why do you need to examine $600 transactions unless you're looking into our pocketbooks?
The proposal involves no reporting of individual transactions of any individual. Look, the big picture is that we have a tax gap that over the next decade is estimated at $7 trillion, namely a shortfall in the amount that IRS is collecting due to a failure of individuals to report the income that they've earned.
But that's among billionaires. Is that among people who are transferring $600?
Okay, did you hear what she just said? She said they're not going to be keeping reports on individuals, but there's a shortfall in taxes, and they need to monitor what you're going to do with your $600 transactions. Literally in the same sentence, flip-flop. Let me repeat this one more time because it's worth hearing.
I think this proposal has been seriously mischaracterized. The proposal involves no reporting of individual transactions. Of any individual.
Of any individual,
the big picture is that we have a tax gap that over the next decade is estimated at $7 trillion, namely a shortfall in the amount that IRS is collecting due to a failure of individuals to report the income.
So they won't keep reports of individuals' transactions, but there's a shortfall on taxes due to individuals not reporting right. Am I missing something? Do you hear what they're saying? That's like I tell you, come here, open up your purse or open up your wallet. I want to see how much money's in there. You're like, what? No, it's not my way of seeing how much money you got. That's not the purpose. Don't misunderstand me. Just open up your purse and open up your wallet because it's really important for each of us to know how much money you have in your wallet or your purse. You're like, what the hell? Isn't that the same thing? But listen, it gets even better.
That they've earned.
But that's among billionaires. Is that among people who are transferring $600?
No, it tends to be among high-income individuals whose income is opaque and the IRS doesn't receive information about it.
Yeah, you heard her right. This is their way of targeting billionaires who are not reporting their tax properly. Monitoring, and that they're not targeting the poor people. This is not for you poor people. This is for the higher income people. So it's important that they monitor all $600 transactions. But it gets better. Ben Shapiro has the greatest response.
In a tweet about Treasury Secretary Yellen's comment, Ben Shapiro observed, "Can't tell you how many billionaires got that way by withdrawing $600 at a time from a bank because that would literally take 1,666,666 transactions." Like Shapiro, the American Bankers Association is also skeptical. In a letter to Speaker Pelosi, it warned of the big brotherism inherent in these proposed powers. Quote,
"That's what they want. A total power grab. They want to stay in power forever. They want that social scoring. They want that communist agenda here so they can run and control everything and enslave the people." So I know a lot of you out there don't like to get into politics, so don't have to hear about it. But if you just sit back and snooze and just say, I don't want to listen to it because you're frustrated or you're just not interested, is why we are in this predicament in the first place. People need to start getting out there and doing what they can. But I think it's funny that they're saying, hey, we need to hire, well, it's not funny to be honest with you. So they're going to hire 87,000 more spies to come, IRS agents to come and examine, is what it says, all of the $600 transactions, because they're going after those millionaires who are cheating us in their taxes. So thank God for that, huh? Don't you guys feel much better that they're not going to be keeping reports on individuals? No, no, no. But what they're going to do is keep an eye on individuals' transactions of the billionaires because they're tax sneaks. This is, once again, another reason why you should not keep your money in the bank. The threat of a bail-in. You want Uncle Sam spying on your business? That's why you need gold and silver. You have to have a local gold and silver buyer that you will build a relationship with, trust. Take your money, put it into gold and silver, buy locally if you can. Of course, I've said this before. It's a little bit cheaper than any retailer. But if you decide to go to a retailer, I urge you guys to go check out our friends at Money Metals Exchange. They are the most competitive when it comes to pricing. If you keep your money into gold and silver, you can do transactions because most gold and silver shops will pay cash. Over the counter, you don't have to worry about anything. So then you get the cash in your hands. It's nobody's business how much you got or how much you spend. You can do it freely until they force you into a digital currency where not only are they keeping track of your $600 transactions, but they'll be keeping track of your 1 cent transactions as well. Again, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.